Hey friends, welcome to a nice brisky day here in North Carolina. It feels like December, but Brenda and I are about to go crazy in the house. So we are going to be outside today doing a little bit of fall cleanup. In the other video, we were talking about, see, I'm telling you, she's going crazy. A dog can only stay in the house for so long. But we're going to do a little fall cleanup. If you remember the other day, I was talking about how there are always things to do in the garden. Well, that is what we're going to do today. We're going to come and we're just going to kind of do a little bit of cleanup. And I have got Jackson with me back here. He too was going a little stir crazy in the cold weather. So I am putting him to work with some tools. And so what we're going to do, first things first, is I am going to let him get started. We're going to trim back some Amsonia. I'm going to show you how I trim back some of my perennials. Just kind of that general afternoon here in the garden. North Carolina Zone 8A, early mid-December. These are things that you can be doing in your garden as well. So I just thought if I'm doing it in my garden, odds are that other people may be in the same situation. So I just want to kind of share some things with you. So what we have here is the Amsonia. Now this is just that great, beautiful native blue star Amsonia. It has been here for years. And we love this perennial because, one, if you can see, you know, the size of it, right? So it is 3 feet tall, but in the spread of it, oh my gosh, it is at least 5.5 feet in width. Has a vase-like habit to it. So when you get down in here, you can see that we have the clumps. So there's multiple clumps in here, and they have it naturalized and just gotten a little bit wider every single year, but super easy. So what Jackson is going to do is he has got the electric hedge trimmers, and so he is going to take those and literally he's going to cut them to the ground. At this point, they are nothing but dry stalks. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of it. We have got so much gardens that do a little bit at a time. And with this Amsonia, because it is dry and brittle, if I leave it for a long time, then it just breaks up and it ends all over the garden and kind of a mess. So I like to go ahead and trim it down to the ground. Super easy to do, but if you're looking for a great, easy, beautiful perennial that gives you in the early spring these gorgeous true blue flowers. The flowers themselves are small, but they're star shaped and they come in these clusters and they're gorgeous. And then throughout the rest of the season, it'll have this very light, airy green foliage. Kind of reminds you like of a large fern. This is like a thread leaf type. So it has thin foliage on it. And in the fall, it has gorgeous, really bright yellow foliage to it. Gorgeous. But of course, alas, we have had quite chilly weather here in North Carolina. Like this morning, it was 19. We've had multiple nights of it in the low 20s. Tonight's supposed to be balmy at a 38, and then we're going to go down to 16 for a couple of days. So yeah, it's a little chilly here. So this is done, so Jackson can go ahead and trim that. While he's doing that, I need to sharpen and clean my Thelcos before I get started on trimming back some of my perennials. So I thought I would show you how easy it is to clean, sharpen, and just maintain your Thelcos. You can do it in less than like 2 minutes. It is so easy, but it is so worth it to keep those Thelcos in tip-top shape. right, my friends, so Jackson and I got the Amsonia cleaned up, easy peasy. Just cut it to the ground and poof, there you go. Don't have to worry about it until the spring and it pops up. It is literally the easiest perennial ever. Now, I am going to go ahead and start working on cleaning up some of my other perennials, but I'm going to be using my Thelcos. Now, I have the Thelco too. It depends on your hand size, if you're right-handed, left-handed, whichever ones you like. I just prefer the Thelco 2s. And I will routinely clean and maintain my Thelcos. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. It is so easy to do. It literally will take me less than probably like a minute to do it. It may take me a little bit longer today because I'm going to be explaining to you what I'm going to be doing. But I do this on a regular basis to clean the Thelcos and keep my blade sharp. I do garden probably a little bit more than the average person, really like 5 days a week. And so I like to replace my blade really like once a year. By maintaining them, sharpening, cleaning them, I only have to replace that blade one time a year. I'm not doing that today. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to maintain them on a regular basis. So we're going to set the camera up, get it nice and tight so you can see exactly what I'm doing so I can take any fear that you may have of cleaning and sharpening your Thelcos. All right, so what you're going to need, first I'm going to explain all of my tools and equipment for you. Paper towels. Get some paper towels. Easy peasy. Then we have the Thelco 981. In simplest terms, y'all, this is your soap. This is the cleaner, okay? This is going to take all the dirt and the gunk off of your blade and your Thelcos. Next, we have the 905. The 905 is a multi-purpose tool. When you need to change your blade, it has a wrench on the end, the different sizes, that will loosen those bolts. We're not going to do that today. What we're focusing on today is that it has my blade. This is already at that perfect angle to sharpen your Thelcos. So your 905, super easy to use. And then last but not least is the 980 spray. This is an oil. Basically, we're going to lubricate the Thelcos, and this is what keeps it waterproof so that your Thelcos do not rust. So we're going to try to do this the best we can so that you can see. So I opened up my Thelcos. Let's see, hang on. Gotta get my paper towels ready. And this will be fun on a windy day too, but here we go. All right, so with my 981, this is the soap, and I just spray this everywhere, right? It is cold, so hopefully it'll spray out. Now, it's a mess, but it's all right. Get it in there and then just let it sit for just a second. I like to go back and forth like this, get all the soap down in there. Now, take your paper towels and then you just wipe. And can you see how dirty that is already? Yep. So we get in there and you're just going to go ahead and look at that. The gunk, right? Flip it over on all sides, get all up in there, get it clean, see that? Now this part is not your blade, right? This is your blade. This is not sharp, this is what is sharp. So just be aware of that when you're coming in here and manhandling your Thelcos. Get it nice and clean, all right. So you can see all of my beautiful red clay is now off. So that's the easy part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 905, and it's really the easiest if you hold your Thelcos like this in front of you. Okay, so we're going to have them upside down and facing us. It gives you a little thumb guard right here, so you put your thumb here. I like to put my other finger, my pointer finger, on top. I'm going to try to make sure. So we go right here, and then we just slide. Okay, and you just go back and forth a couple of times. Well, not back and forth, just drag it to you a couple of times. Now, I will say, you know, I'm all about full disclosure here. Don't let this finger slip. One time it slipped and it went, and this 905 works really well, and I got myself a nice little cut right there. So you just do it a couple of times. Just apply regular pressure, nothing crazy, right? And go in there and it sharpens, and you can see where we got a clean blade and then the old, kind of the dirtier blade right there. So that is it. Next, we take the 980 spray. This is our lubricant, our oil, and we spray both sides. I like to get in all the different places, and then again, back and forth. Hold it up so that your oil gets down in here in all your little nooks and crannies. There you go. It's like hot butter. And then just to make sure that I'm not spreading grease all in my tool belt, I just wipe off the excess. So this way we're not dripping oil anywhere. And that, my friends, is as easy as that. Now, what I will show you whenever I do replace my blade, I will show you how I replace this blade, because you have to take all these little pieces apart. It can be intimidating, but that is why we have that 905, because it fits perfectly right there, and you can loosen it on one side, and then the other side is smaller, and it does that one. So you don't have to worry about getting out screwdrivers. Please do not get screwdrivers for here. You will absolutely destroy your Felcos. Get the 905, has the perfect little size wrench on each one to take those apart. I'm not going to do that today. Now we're going to work on our perennials. All right, now that we got the Felcos all nice and sharp, we are right here. This is my Royal Raspberry agastache. Love this. You were with me when we planted it, but it is time to go ahead and cut her back. So it is as simple as this, y'all. The agastache is a little bit different in the fact of it'll keep a nice little mound of green at the bottom. So we're really cutting off the old bloom stalks. Y'all, it is not hard. Just go in there, and above where the green foliage is, just prune that off. And I have to say, these are just like butter. I told Jackson's helping me today, and I was like, you know, it's different gardening now because I'm wearing a sweater, 2 coats, all these clothes, as opposed to gardening in, you know, in the summertime. So I feel like a little bit of a snowman. But we're just going to come in here, and we're just absolutely taking off the stalks and getting rid of those. And then you can start to see this green foliage appearing. So we're just coming in here and taking back those stems, and you can see that beautiful green foliage begin to appear. So now you have a nice little neat mound, as opposed to the wispiness. Easy as that, my friends. So what we'll do is we've got 2 more to do, and so we'll just come in and clean these up. But you've got beautiful, sweet little mound of foliage right there. All right, so we got the agastache done. Easy peasy, y'all. Now we're gonna work on the spiderwort. This is Webmaster from Proven Winners. It will be new next year. Spiderwort historically can be kind of a pesky perennial because it'll get a little too aggressive. I've got 3 clumps here, I believe it was. They were so well behaved and absolutely a gorgeous plant. Really kind of that, whether you wanna call it blue or a light lavender, really nice. Now, right now, it's a little wild and floppy looking. So what I'm gonna do is, again, you're gonna come in here, and the 2 plants, I planted them kind of close, so they're touching each other. We're gonna take off the old, where the blooms were, okay? So you're still gonna have foliage down here in the center, and you can see where I've got, my leaves are blowing from the forest pansy, but we're just coming in here and cleaning up the plant. I'm not going to shear this all the way back because I could keep some good foliage throughout the winter. We'll see. So I want to have a nice little clump here, but I am just going to go ahead and clean it up and take off those old bloom stalks. It's as easy as that. Just go through, find those old stalks. Might have to clean back some leaves. It is a nice windy day here, and so things are blowing. And we're just going to go in, and we're just going to cut them back. Easy as that. Here. All right, my friends, easy peasy. Next we have alliums. These are the serendipity alliums. Again, I think there's 3 clumps in here. Love me some alliums. So alliums, of course, are basically ornamental onions, right? And serendipity is a great, beautiful, you can see this is the height of it. It's maybe at the height 2 feet tall. Of course, it does those really nice, rich purple balls on it. Your honeybees go bananas over this plant. It is so easy. Your pollinators love it, but your deer and your rabbit do not, because they are onions. Obviously, I left my heads on here as long as I didn't, you know, deadhead them or anything. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm just going to come through, and I am just simply pulling them out. That's the beautiful thing about waiting this long is that you can go in, you grab a clump, they are nice and dry, and then voila, they just come out like that. Now, depending on your growing zone, where you are, your alliums may be an evergreen for you. You may keep this really nice green foliage. I tend to keep a lot of my foliage, even though we've had nights, last night was 19, we're gonna get down to 16, it'll keep that nice habit. So I like being able to see some structure, even though I'm taking off and deadheading them. I still like being able to see where my plants are. It just gives me some interest throughout the winter season, and you don't actually then go and plant something there or dig it up or what have you. So just simply going in and pulling them out, it is as easy as that. If you're familiar with daylilies, right, when the daylily blooms are done, and if you wait long enough, you can do the same thing with your daylilies. Well, easy peasy, my friends. Just going in, cleaning up, makes the plant look so much nicer and neater, and you can see all of that pretty green structure right there, and it looks like, like a little bit of a grass. But of course, this grass is not attractive to my little bunny friends that I have living around here that have been plaguing me this past growing season. So it's as easy as that, just going in, neat and tidy. All right, my friends, just a little bit of work, whenever you can in the garden makes a big difference, especially when it comes to spring. And if your spring is like mine, which is a little bit crazy, anything that I can do now when the days are shorter and a little cooler, then that is always a good thing, right? So we just do what you can, a little bit here and a little bit there. Overall, it's a little bit neater, it is a little bit tidier, especially for me. The big difference is the Amsonia, right? So the Amsonia being cut back makes it look nice and neat. And then of course right here with the spiderwort, it is the leaves. Yes, the leaves are blowing. We still have a lot of oak trees that are holding on to their leaves. So that's why the leaves are just blowing, and it's a windy day, so there you go. But just getting in there, you still have foliage. But basically you've just gotten rid of all the old bloom heads, making it look a little neater and tidier, and it's not sprawling out all over the flower bed. So then that is nice as well. And then coming from this angle with the alliums, neat and tidy in there. I choose to leave my grasses throughout basically the winter. I will probably come in and cut them back like mid to late January, because sometimes our late winters can be a little interesting and we'll start to get growth on our grasses even like really early on. So this is the Apache Rose. I've got 2 of those in here. Leave them up, give them some structure in the bed and movement. So there you go as well. So they're all doing quite nicely. And then of course the Royal Raspberry agastache right here behind Emperor 1. See the little mounds, but again, just making it look a little neater and a little tidier in here as well. Now with your panicle hydrangeas, these are phantoms right here. So we have phantom hydrangeas in this flower bed, and then that whole length underneath the cryptomerias. Those are phantoms as well. So your panicle hydrangeas, unless you are in an area where you get a lot of heavy snow load, you can really leave these up and leave them in their quote natural state for quite a long time. You do want to prune your panicle hydrangeas because all of these blooms were from this past year's growth on them. So you can see, like literally, look, right, this is where I cut it this past year, spring, late winter of 2024, and look at all of that growth this year. So, and that's where the flowers are, is on the tips of those. So you want to come in and prune those. If you are in an area that typically gets a ton of snow, probably you've already had your snow, but a lot of times, from what I understand of my friends in those kinds of climates, is that they like to go ahead and prune, at least get the heads off of those hydrangeas before the big heavy snow comes. That way it doesn't hold the snow, right? So it doesn't break or snap the stems. Here in North Carolina, I don't have that problem, but I will go ahead, probably like I said, You want to do it before you start to see some growth on them, which would be like mid to late February. I come in and trim those back. So anything you can do in your garden, then that is a great thing. I was really hoping that the tulips were going to arrive today. According to the tracking, they were supposed to arrive today, but it is past that window, so I don't think they're going to arrive today. I was hoping that I could show them to you hopefully tomorrow. We'll be able to do that so I can start getting these babies in the ground. But it's been a nice day here in the garden, of course, with Brenna, and it's always nice to have Jackson in there with me. You know, he'll be 15 in April, and so hey, if he wants to spend some time in the garden with his mama, I will happily take it. All right, my friends, get out there, do what you can, and if you can't get out in your garden, maybe it's too cold or there's too much snow or whatever it is, just dream about spring, my friend. Make those plans and enjoy it. Snuggle up, stay warm. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.